Well, how's everybody in YouTube land doing? So I thought I would make a video of my Sorghum Sudan Sudex here. As you can see, there's soybeans planted with them. I bought some .9 maturity soybeans. Obviously I bought them beginning of July, so kind of got a deal on them because it's, a little late for planting soybeans. But as you can see, I dumped the soybeans in the grain drill first, and then I dumped the sorghum in there, and then I mixed them. So there's pretty much just soybeans here the first pass until you get to where the mix was. And yes, we have some weeds in the soybeans here, but my calves have been over here eating too, which doesn't really help things much, but it's kind of creep feeding. But this was planted July 3rd, so this has 34 days of growth on it. The first 2 to 3 weeks it was really slow, and now in the last couple days it's grown a lot. Those of you who follow me on Instagram saw the picture yesterday. This stuff was 48, 49 inches tall, and today the majority of it's around that 56-inch mark. So, around 8 inches in one day. It's growing really fast now all of a sudden. But here you can see, I hate walking in here because it knocks it over, but you can see we have our soybeans in here with our sorghum. And honestly, the soybeans look better in sorghum than the soybeans do out there where there's just soybeans. And there you can see there's a pea. I had a little bit of pea seed that I threw in there too. These are those 4010 peas. You can see here, you can see a pea climbing up. Maybe if I can get that leaf out of the way. So it's basically soybeans, a little bit of peas. There's another pea right there. A little bit of peas, and then around a 20 pound of the acre seed rate of Sorghum Sudan, which I'm going to refer to as Sudex because that's what most of us call it. So I don't know if I can spin this around and you can see, but I'm just about 6 foot tall. That's 56 inches right here to where these leaves are. So it's growing. The plan was to cut this a day or two before I want to chop my silage corn back yonder. That way I'm not running any of it over while I'm chopping, and then, a couple days after I'm done chopping, then get this baled. The plan is to make baleage, but I am going to use the conditioner on it to kind of, we'll just say condition it. Those flails in there, they kind of beat these bigger stems up. You see they got some pretty healthy stalks on there. That's all of 3/8 diameter. So those flails, I did it last year, some of you guys remember, and those bales fed out really nice. it busted up those stalks, so I plan to do that again. Now, technically, a guy could cut this right now because it's in the numbers they say that, that's where you should cut it if you want to do a multi-cut. I don't want to do a multi-cut. I'm going to let this grow as long as it can, obviously until right before I chop corn silage. So I want to see how tall it'll get. Yeah, right now the nutrient values are probably higher than what it's going to be if I wait that long, but it's going to be fed to dry cows, so I'm not too worried about it. And taking into consideration it has these soybeans growing underneath it, I think that's going to kind of offset. So I'm going more for tonnage versus quality per se. The first 2 cuttings of hay were pretty dismal around here, so I need to make up some ground. So we're gonna let this grow as long as possible. So like I say, this was planted July 3rd. Down here, it's not quite as tall. It's almost up to my waist. I mean, if I step in here, it is up to my waist. You can see there, it's up to my waist. Doesn't look like it, but it's taller than it looks. But these soybeans you can see here aren't as tall as the soybeans that are in there. So I don't know if it's the competition factor or what. So that's those. And then on our rye there, those were planted. I should remember this off the top of my head, but I know they're 16 days. You do the math. I think these are planted on the 18th. The 18th or the 19th. There's 16 days difference between the sorghum Sudan we were just in. What are you doing, Black Kitty? Yeah, big kitties. So there's 16 days difference here. Now this is what I experienced with the other Sudex. Same thing you're going to see here. So this has approximately 2 weeks of growth on it. And you can see it's about 6 to 8 inches tall. So maybe you can see it better looking that way. I'll just kind of cover the sun a little bit. So this is exactly what that stuff looked like 16 days ago. It grew that much in that short period of time. Now here again, we have soybeans, we have our Sudex, but I do not have any peas in here because I ran out of peas and I wasn't going to buy another bag or two of peas. So anyhow, this is our sorghum after our cereal rye harvest. You can see there's still spots that are really short, like right in there. Then you have spots that are really thick and tall. Don't ask me why. All I know is we are replacing all the disc openers and doing some other work to the drill before we plant our fall cover crops, which this year I'm going to do rye on everything. Behind that sorghum and the silage corn, and then half of this field's going to be high moisture corn. We're going to do rye with oats. On the back part of this field we're going to do rye, oats, and Austrian winter peas. Basically that's going to be my deer hunting plot. And then when we pick corn, this will just be rye because this will be rye field again next year. And then that, I'm going to actually chop that field off so I can do new seeding this fall. Because I have always had better luck with new seeding in the fall than in the spring. So that is what we've got going on. Now, anybody that's interested in updates, and if you're on Instagram, follow the farm page because that's where I post most of my updates. If there's enough interest in watching this stuff grow for the next 3 to 4 weeks, let me know, and I will try to post updates on the community page on YouTube. That way, obviously, if people are on YouTube, they're gonna see the stuff on there. But if there's enough interest, let me know, and I'll post updates on there too. So one last look here. It'll be interesting to see what this looks like in 16 days. And that's a lot of why I've been posting the updates. It's other people can see the progress as well as me, but it's more for me to look back and be like, that's what it was 5 days ago, that's what it was 10 days ago. So then I have, you know, instead of me trying to write it down and not lose it. I brought that cat home from the meat plant. He's crazy. So anyways, it's like video documentation or picture documentation of what's going on. So Lynx, hey, Lynx, yeah, meow. Hear the deer running through my corn. They've taken the tops from the ear up off about 2 acres of that field. If you drive around it and look at it, it's really irritating. So anyways, yeah, if there's enough interest, let me know, and I'll post the updates on the YouTube community page as well. Otherwise, I will just post them on Instagram, more for my own, so I can look back, but then anybody else that follows can see it too to follow along. But anyhow, this is what we've got going. It's this is the first that I have planted sorghum behind rye that it's actually worked good. If you guys remember back 4 or 5 years ago, on that field I planted like pearl millet and a bunch of other stuff behind rye harvest. That stuff did really good. And ever since I've been trying to do sorghum behind rye and it has not done good. Now this year I sprayed this. Before I combined, I sprayed with 2,4-D and Roundup to try and kill stuff before I combined. And then before I planted this, I hit it again. So to try and really knock the competition back. And as you can see, I can't tell for sure if this is sorghum or if it's other grasses, but I can see other grasses starting to fill in, so hopefully the sorghum gets ahead of it. Whatever comes in between, it's going to be what it's going to be, but at least this way, hopefully the sorghum gets ahead of it. So, but yeah, we've had a big problem with alfalfa this year too. That field kind of looks terrible. The corn itself don't look bad. It looks terrible because it's so grassy in there. That's that conventional corn. But my silage corn back there, I have alfalfa that was planted, or that was an alfalfa field back in like 15, 14. And it's been sprayed numerous times every year for the last 6-7 years. And it seems like it's coming back thicker. So as soon as we're done chopping silage, I don't know if I'm going to spray it this fall or if I'm going to hit it really hard next spring before I plant corn. But we're going to do the 2,4-D with Roundup on that too to get rid of that alfalfa, because apparently Roundup isn't killing alfalfa anymore. So 2,4-D does though. So anyway, that's a little update on the sorghum here. So it's hard to pay attention when you got a cat at your feet. Is that right, you Gomer? Yeah, Gomer. Yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching everybody. Stay tuned for more, and we will catch you on the next one.